Hello and welcome to another episode of Escapades Player Review Session. My name is Suryansh and delighted to be joined as always by Akshat and Amit. So let's another mad game week. Apologies, I wasn't there the last time you guys recorded, but good to know that Akshat did a brilliant job both on the pod as well as on FPL. Sure you have green arrows, man. But I'll start off with Amit. So Amit, talk to me, man. How was your game week and who's your hit of the game week just gone by? I'm sure you have a lot to talk about.
So the week start off really panicky with all the Pep selection of me captaining Sterling and Sterling not even getting picked or coming on as a substitute luckily. And also having Cancelo in that team made me really panicky. And plus to add to those moves, I had the brilliant idea of finally getting out Wilson and he giving away 13 points, 2 goals, an assist, and 3 bonus points. So,
I really
but
wish Anand was here, man.
covered well. Yeah, man. It generally happens to me. Anytime I get a player out, he usually ends up giving hat tricks or braces. So I'm used to it by now. This is the golden FPL rule. In case I get any player out from the next game week, I will let you guys know. You can do that. I am thinking of getting out Rashford, Bruno, and Sterling, one of them for Salah. So keep your. This is just a hunch. This
Do
isn't.
yeah, man. Let us know. One small message on our group should be good enough.
Yeah. Anyway, to review the week that's gone by, the first player that comes to mind has to be Wilson. After such a long drought, yes, finally, we saw the striker that Newcastle picked the big bucks for basically, and we had he was the main reason why he was the only person who could right now save Steve Bruce from the agony he's been in for the past 6-7 weeks. And in the game week where everybody was getting in DCL and captaining, getting in DNA, it was nice having him score those 2 goals to ruin the DCL fantasy players and the DNA players. Oh, it's a pity that I got him out this week only. Still can't get over this fact. But yes, Wilson is as always remains a very shrewd finisher and a very tidy little player. And if Newcastle avoids relegation this season, he would be one of the major reasons why Newcastle would avoid that. Because at this moment, he's the focal point of that Newcastle team, and he takes the penalties and everything. And although Newcastle are not creating as many chances, but he's the fourth highest returning your striker in the FPL. So you can't really ask much from a 6.6. I guess he's 6.7 now, but you can't ask much any more from a player of that sort of a price range, along with Bamford. These two have been FPL gold this season for me. And the next player, which is, I mean, it has been the player who have initially undergone under the who has initially undergone has underwent bit under the radar is Ruben Dias, with the whole world going into the Stones mode and the Cancela mode. I got Ruben Dias, I think, game week 18. And since then, he has given me turn of 8, 13, 17 point in the double game week, followed by 6 and again an 8 pointer. So he has been consistent. And the thing about Ruben Dias is no matter how much Guardiola tinkers with that team, Ruben Dias is a constant fixture in that team. And ever since he joined, he has been the integral part of the Guardiola defense. People keep rotating around him, and I don't think he's gonna get dropped. Having said so, next week they face Burnley. Face Burnley, and you could well see him on the bench. Do not hold me against hold me to that. It's not down to Pep Guardiola, but I don't think we should be seeing him get rotated. It should be Rafael Laporte who gets rotated for Stones next week, but there is a slight chance that he might. and he has right given 12 clean sheets that season, this season, and uh, you could feel a goal you could feel a header coming from his end very soon when you see him play. So these two are my players. I'm fortunate that I had Dias in my team, and very ingenious move of mine to get Wilson out. But
No,
all in
I
all,
mean,
it was a pretty
I
decent
see
game with 59 points.
both the picks, man. I mean, both the picks that you've just talked about, both of them, just nailed on. I mean, I couldn't agree more that, in this Newcastle team, the like of Callum Wilson is doing so much, and it's true as to if Newcastle is to stay up, your Callum Wilson play an integral part in how things shape up for them. And Ruben Diaz, I mean, I'm just I was just shocked to see how young he was. I mean, I really was expecting him to be, 27, 28-year old. I mean, but just not even 24, if I'm not wrong, and that's just incredible. I mean, the kind of consistency and impact that he's had on City, and we all know they were leaking goals in the start of the season. We couldn't recognize what City was, but Ruben Diaz coming in. I mean, that's
This is
been
one
put
of
to
the
rest.
major reasons why City are looking so threatening this season, because they're not conceding any goals. And City, against the Sheffield game, even if you see them, they were actually panicky towards the end because they hadn't scored that second goal. But you could always have that assurance at the back with Diaz playing in that team. Earlier on, City used to be a bit leaky, but City hasn't considered anything for the last 10 game weeks, if I remember correctly. 8 or 10 game weeks, they have been rock solid at the back. So that's one of the major reasons they are leading that table right now. Also, City, Liverpool, uh, uh, when this season, none of the team have been as their best, and when teams are at not their best, they usually tend to buckle under the pressure. But like Sir Alex used to say, attack wins you games and defense wins you title. And this season, this is one of the major advantage City has over United going into the title race.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, CC to the red side of Manchester. I mean, crying out for, you know, um, like you said, Amit.
After the Newcastle game, my first message of condolences went to Amit for Wilson, for removing Wilson. Last week we were talking, and he was thinking about removing Wilson because of the dry spell that he was in.
Yeah, man. Moving on. Akshat, tell me, man, how was your game week? How did that go about for you and your players, man? Really, sorry that none of your picks are United picks this week, but enlighten
Uh,
us, man.
it's been two back-to-back weeks when there's not a single United pick from my side. My FPL was pretty decent. Not doing that great in the game week, but at least in FPL Cup for the
Okay.
last four game weeks, I'm winning by whisker at least by 1 or 2 points only. So yeah, it was not the green arrows that I expected, but a decent game week for me, more than the average. So, what about you, Suryansh? How was your game week, and what are your picks for the game week 21?
See, my game week was okay. I mean, if I'm not wrong, I was checking the table today, and all three of us, are in this game week 2 points, separated by each other. I guess Amit's at the top, but yeah, that just tells us that we've had similar game weeks. I've also had a couple of blunders. I had to take out Kane, of course, because of the injury. DCL could not do it for me. I mean, as he was the most transferred in player this week. So it's the FPL golden rule, right? The most transferred in player will not perform for you. And sadly, I got to know this after the deadline. So yeah, and also like Amit, I had Sterling captain. Didn't start. I won't say that I'm delighted that he didn't come on because my vice captain was Bruno. And looking at this City team, I believe that any player in this City lineup is capable of causing havoc in 20 25 minutes. I mean, that's all you need from those City assets. So yeah, lads, all in all, my pick for the game week that's just gone by will raise a few eyebrows, but I've gone in for Marcus Alonso as my first pick. Um, First of all, an FPL favorite. All of us who've been playing FPL for more than a couple of seasons since he's been at Chelsea. We know the kind of attacking prowess this guy has. I mean, the returns that he gives are completely can feel and like he's a proper winger playing. You've heard it from his teammates like Eden Hazard. I remember saying this when he was playing with Alonso that you need to tell Alonso to stay back. I mean, he's perhaps the most forward player for Chelsea at times. This week he showed us why. I mean, the goal that he scored wasn't just a normal goal. It was a goal that requires a lot of you know finishing touch. You need that finishing touch, and you don't really see that from defenders. Yeah,
I
Mithun.
saw this amazing tweet on Twitter saying the youth coach who made him actually a left back divided us of having him one of the most generational striker of our of this era. The kind of goal this guy scores is amazing. The kind
No,
of touch and the
absolutely.
finish he has.
If I'm not wrong, he scored a lot of free kick goals as well for Chelsea, man. And he has football in his veins. A father who played for Real Madrid and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, a bombing player gave in 14 points. So the only if you think about picking Marcos Alonso is the managerial bounce that's just happened at Chelsea. We've seen him play just 4 games this season. This was his fourth game, if I'm not wrong. So
Yeah,
he's been sparingly used by the manager and the new manager coming in. We know Tuchel is attacking manager and likes to bomb forward, has his own methods for the game, and uh, it's just let's just say that Chilwell has something to look right behind his shoulder because Marcos Alonso, if he can have another few games like this, I mean, no reason why he shouldn't start for Chelsea.
But
Low ownership.
let's see if he starts against Spurs because attacking wise he has never been a question, right? Defensive wise, let's see against that Mourinho team, will Tuchel risk it?
Yeah, absolutely. You are bang on, and like thinking about it from a footballing mind and not an FPL mind, I genuinely myself think that Chilwell would start instead of him against Spurs. But in the long run, in the next coming 2 3 weeks, if Alonso, we see Alonso playing bulk of the matches. So yeah, that can be a really shrewd pick. The price is high, yes, but the differential of ownership is absolutely catches my eye, less than 2%. So yeah, my first pick is Marcos Alonso. Had a wonderful game week, and the second pick for the game week I have is like to apologize to Anand. I know you'll be watching this, man. Um, but yeah, it's Mohamed Salah. With a lot of pain, I have to take this guy's name. But what a player, phenomenal. I mean, already scored 15 goals this season, 3 assists, 15 points again, and if I'm not wrong, is the highest scoring FPL asset now, overtaking Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, I mean, had another brilliant game week. Safe to say that you single-handedly took Liverpool out, over the line against West Ham. The goal that he scored, fantastic. I mean, that's just trademark Liverpool for you, isn't it? A moment of Salah brilliance, and that does the job for you. The ownership of 42%. Another interesting stat I was reading today was that he scored almost 20 goals in 21 matches he's played without Sadio Mane. So that is a very interesting stat that I came across, given the competition that both of them have had over the past few seasons in terms of being the main man at Liverpool. So that was something really interesting. In terms of midfielders, has the most amount of shots at goal. I mean, that's no surprise. He's just a winger by name. We all know he plays, right up top for Liverpool. So yeah, I mean, Mohamed Salah, I don't see any. This is the safest FPL pick, right, guys? I mean, nobody can debate, nobody can argue. I mean, the kind of returns that this guy has given, 150 points almost, 146 points, and almost just above the halfway mark. So he's, he's destined for a record-breaking season once again. If he carries on like this, and also, my dear friend Anand, I'm pretty sure that he got in Mohamed Salah for KDB injury, the KDB injury. There'll be, I'm sure, a lot of people who, if they don't own Salah, like myself, would have been tempted to, upgrade on KDB. So yeah, for this game week, I think Salah is a no-brainer, man.
Here, the point that you just said, even I made this blunder because I was also in two minds for a replacement for KDB. I also wanted to go for Salah or Mane, but I chose the wrong one. I went for Mane. So this game week, I scored above average with just 10 players playing. After the Pep rule, Cancelo and Stones also not playing. So that's why I'm still satisfied with only 10 players giving me points above average. And Anand also just told me one interesting thing that as soon as the deadline ended, everybody in the FPL world almost knew that Mane won't be playing because Robertson, he also plays and he always keeps Mane. And this time Mane was not in his team.
Apparently, his
That
team name is Show Me the Mane.
so yeah, man. Moving on from these Liverpool picks, talk to me, Akshat. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, so from the first four players that we have spoken about, none of them were in my team. But the next two players that I'm going to say, I think they both are in everybody's team. So the first player that I've gone with is Bamford. He's the second highest scoring FPL striker at the moment, just behind Harry Kane, who is out injured. And he's just a gift that keeps on giving. After three blank game weeks and 11 goals and four assists, he has the third highest goal creation action per 90 minutes for a striker in Premier League, just behind Vardy and Kane. And the difference between the price of Kane, Vardy, and Bamford, it's you can get him for pennies in front of Kane and Vardy, priced at just 6.6, and you can save him to get in a decent defender or a midfielder. He has also the highest shots on target per 90 minutes, along with the highest NPXG plus XA for a striker. So he has really interesting stats, and I don't think that even after three blank game weeks, that's why because of his quality, none of us, was tempted to remove, even though a lot of people brought in
Had doubts.
DCL, but still, I think Bamford was not taken out by a lot of people. So yeah, and also we know that Bielsa is an attacking coach, and Bamford will be facing Everton, who conceded two goals against Newcastle, a weak Newcastle team. So yeah, it won't be a surprise that Bamford giving FPL points again for the next game week.
This, yeah, this is one of the major reasons. You see Newcastle play and they don't really create chances, whereas you see Leeds play, like you rightly pointed out. Bielsa is an extremely attacking manager, and even if he goes on a drought for 2-3 game weeks, you can always see him getting presented with those chances. So you can always
And
count on
yeah, and
Bamford.
Leeds win against Leicester was really a big upset because even Brendan Rodgers is an attacking kind of manager, and just after the first half, they were put on
What?
back foot.
Joker? Benjamin Roger? What did you say? Is it
Brendan
Joker?
Rodgers,
Oh, sorry.
nice one. No, but the performance that Leeds showed and the performance from Bamford, Leicester were totally on back foot for the whole second half, and they were not able to,
Absolutely.
put up a fight against Leeds.
I guess second half they just slipped away.
Yeah.
Amit is
So
in the mood tonight.
yeah, roasting.
Yeah, man. I mean,
So
I completely agree. And one more point I'd like to add in all of this is I was actually watching the match, and watching the performance against Leicester reminded me of that Lineker saying that he just said a few weeks ago, that sometimes it's good to watch Leicester as a sorry, good to watch Leeds as a neutral, but sometimes it's better to play Leeds. It came about the time when we put six past them, and the whatever little criticism that Leeds got, that was a part of it. And yeah, I mean, coming back to Bamford, the second he could have had the assist that he gave. I mean, it was such, it was heart wrenching, to be honest. It was one on one with the keeper, but a selfless player. I mean, that's, I think, you need to have such qualities to please somebody like a Bielsa. So yeah, man, a terrific pick. And all three of us have that, so 15 points happily in the
yeah,
bag.
and the next player that I'm going to talk about, I want to thank you guys for letting me pick the best assets of FPL at the moment. It's Emi Martinez, because for me, after Ederson, yeah, most people will say that Ederson for them is the best keeper this season. But for me, I really like Martinez, the attitude with which he plays the game. Uh, but he's it's just a gentle reminder now that he's the only keeper to cross 100 mark, 100-point marks in FPL points, and he has clean sheets. He has 10 clean sheets, which is just behind Ederson, who has 12. Also, next to him in line for the most FPL points is Nick Pope. He has played one less match, but I don't think that he'll be able to surpass him at the form that Martinez is in. And also that out of the seven keepers, he's one of the keepers to save at least one penalty so far. Yeah, so yes, so they are with the save percentage, with a high save percentage, and the clean sheet percentage and the price as well. Um,
Martinez is not
I
just a
don't.
keeper; he's a keeper and a half.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
does, he comes out and he does all the job. He's an all-round keeper.
yeah, definitely, man.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember seeing Martinez play last season for the back end of the season for Arsenal, and I was
He's
mightily
better than
impressed.
Leno. In my
Yeah,
opinion,
yeah,
he's better than Leno.
definitely. This is the second time that
Uh,
we are talking about Martinez, and during our first podcast also, we talked about how Arsenal, let go of this brilliant keeper just because, and I think it was a very brave decision from Martinez as well. That obviously, with that quality, he would not want to be the second keeper for any team. He is a first keeper, to be sure. So yeah,
You could
with
easily see him playing for the top six next year.
yeah, definitely,
no, I completely
yeah,
agree. I was just I
I
was
was
just watching Howson's podcast today, and sorry, it was Macaulay, if I'm not wrong. And in that podcast, he mentioned the same thing as to what is the top six. If anybody can define what top six is, I mean, because technically, if we don't consider Leicester to be a top team, then how can we consider Spurs to be a top team? I mean, it's
yeah, but
ifs and buts, and maybe
I
whatever we like to think about the prestige of clubs. But like Amit said, I mean, Aston Villa are well on the way to be a top six club this season. I mean, and it's just not after 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. It's more than half the season. I mean, this is the 22nd game that the 22nd round of fixtures, and if they are keeping like astronomical numbers in terms of defense, and credit goes to them. So yeah, man, interesting picks, intriguing conversations with both of you as usual, like every week. Missed this the last week, and it showed. Um, and I'm pretty sure that I'll have such these picks in my mind when I make my team for the future game week, the next game week. So yeah, that's it from us this week. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Write to us if you want us to discuss about something, a situation, a team, a player, and we'll be sure to do that. And before we log off, a shout out to Anand again, please, because I know he'll kill me if I don't say this. But thank you so much, Anand, for letting me or convincing me to have Patrick Bamford in my team. Else, I would have been languishing somewhere, on the around the 40-point mark. So yeah, I owe you one. I owe you a genuine pick. So with that, we'd like to wrap up. Thanks for tuning in, guys,
He
and
convinced me to get rid of Wilson, just so you know.
that
So
is
I think
that is
Amit will
something
take that shout out back.
that is something that Anand and Amit will, I'm sure, have a discussion about in the next pod. We'll be sure to have Anand over, and yeah, we'll resolve this problem for Amit in front of the viewers. So yeah, that's us. May the arrows be green, guys, and have a wonderful game week. And see you again next week. Cheers.
Cheers.